The following is going to be a video recording of a presentation that was delivered to the public at a public meeting regarding the possibility of going to a 4-day week for Quanah ISD. So with that said, we'll start right away. What has brought us here regarding 4-day week? Well, COVID created a shift in focus to remote learning, a perception that at-home education can be made with progress can be made without daily attendance. Currently, there's a culture of remote productivity where people are working more and more from home, learning from home, and doing regular daily things they would normally go out to do. They're doing it at home. Teachers in our area geographically are unmotivated to join QISD. We have a very, very difficult housing situation in the district. We are unable to compete with larger districts on compensation, and that creates a problem. And there's limited social opportunities for young adults here, being so far away from the larger urban centers. So we are losing the competitive battle for the best educators in the area. Regarding what we've seen when you study the effectiveness of schools, the most important thing for student achievement is the teacher. All data shows two trends regarding 4-day school week, and that is an increase in attendance and an increase in teacher retention. So this is a strategy to create a successful retention institution that will give us an opportunity to keep teachers here, and also an ability to attract teachers to come to Quanah ISD. Since we're unable to compete with compensation, we can have other ways to attract teachers to come to our district. One reason that a 4-day week is important in the district's vision is a concept of digital citizenship. We taught students, always stay safe online. Always watch what you say online, and whatever you do online is going to exist forever. Those things are still important, but now there's been a shift. As I said in the earlier slide, digital citizenship is now, how can I be productive at home? And LinkedIn states by 2025, 70% of the workforce will be working remotely at least 5 days a month. So this trend is going to continue to blossom over and over throughout the entire country, according to this data. And so, it's now no longer just staying safe, watching what you say, and whatever you put out there lasts forever. But you also have to learn how to be productive in a digital world. And so giving students an additional day at home to work on certain things is going to be a way to transition them into that type of society. Teacher retention. This is a really, really important slide. Quanah ISD has lost 53 personnel over the last 3 years. You can see the numbers there, 20, 14, and 19. That is a 40% turnover rate over the last 3 years. We've had no more than 3 applicants for any open position at Quanah ISD schools in 2022. So our problem is twofold. First, we're not attracting teachers. And secondly, as you can see, we are losing teachers at a rapid rate. And as I said earlier, all the information points to one thing being the arbiter of success for students, and that is how good that teacher is in the classroom. Regarding moving to a 4-day week calendar, let's look at instructional time. According to 2021 and 2022 statistics from our past school year, it's actually going to be an increase in instructional minutes. It'll be the exact same amount of teacher workload. We're actually building in a day in the week that could have a bounty of future usefulness. There is no condensing down of time. Last year, we actually used 75,800 minutes due to unscheduled days off, such as bad weather days, issues with water, and issues with COVID, those types of issues. Our 4-day week calendar actually has 77,680 built-in minutes. Those are several days worth more of minutes in a 4-day week calendar. And the possible makeup days, they're already built in. On a day we miss, maybe a Wednesday for a snowstorm, we'll come back that Friday. So that's how that will work. We looked at many different school districts that are either considering the move or have already moved to 4-day week. And we're going to start with looking at our baseline demographics. So Quanah's demographics currently, there's 75% of our students are economically disadvantaged, and 17% of our students are designated as special education. The first school we looked at was Lockney. Their demographics is 81% economically disadvantaged, and 8.6% of their population is special education. Their STAR scores increased 7.2% in the elementary, a 1% increase in their high school, and their junior high did not rate. We interviewed the superintendent of this school, and the first takeaway was attendance increased. Secondly, the elementary did have reservations due to the longer day, but now the entire school is behind it. They started a child care program for the day off, and it only lasted until December, and it was canceled due to no one taking advantage of it. The next school is Paducah. Their demographics and information are 66% economically disadvantaged and 18% special education. They started this year, so we're not going to compare the previous years. We interviewed the principal of Paducah. There was a massive boost in staff and student morale. Surveyed, and after the implementation, 96% of the community is behind the change. They use their off days for STAR intervention, and some adjusted time was needed due to an earlier start time. They had a dramatic increase in student attendance, not just for school, but for practice and activities as well. And teachers are doing a better job overall because they're motivated to keep the work week a 4-day week. So they're going up there and they're working harder. They're doing a better job for their students to keep 4-day-a-week school. We talked to Petrolia. Petrolia's demographics information are 65% economically disadvantaged, 14% special education. The elementary STAR scores were not rated, and they increased 5% in the junior high and high school and were rated a B. The takeaways from the principal of their secondary school campus, and that an increase in attendance from 95% to 99% on the initial semester that they started the program. They only had 4 discipline slips written the first semester that they introduced 4-day week. Lost only 1 classroom teacher not tied to coaching. Spring Lake Earth. The demographics information are 70% economically disadvantaged and 13% special education. This is a national blue ribbon school, one of the highest honors a school can receive in the nation, and they've chosen to go to a 4-day week calendar. We're looking at trends, and educationally, the one trend is there really isn't one when you look at all of the different schools that we have researched. It leads us to one thing, that the teacher is what matters the most. So operationally, there are 2 trends: a higher teacher retention and higher attendance, which leads to increased academic achievement and also helps us with state funding. Planning. There's time for planning is greatly enhanced for our teachers. The flexibility to do things families would otherwise take kids out of school for exists, and opportunities for activities in and out of school on their day off. Several questions that were brought to us we asked to be submitted ahead of time so we can answer those. One of the primary questions that we received at elementary was daycare. The calendar will give plenty of time to make arrangements, or bad weather days, or water issues, or disease days, problems we had with COVID. They didn't give any heads up on what to do. So we're going to give you plenty of time to find daycare for kids on those days off. One of the options that we've talked about was utilizing the Red Cross program for babysitting, creating a babysitting organization through our FCCLA teacher, Mrs. Manny, and having the option to contact those students who've had that training and are willing to come and take care of kids. Melody Majors, one of our teachers here at Quanah ISD, did create a dialogue for us with the Boys and Girls Club of Vernon. And there's going to be some dialogue and continued messaging between the district and the Boys and Girls Club to see what kind of options there are going to be. And they are very interested in helping us with this issue. Pep rallies, you can see there's a list of options for pep rallies, all the way going from home games, going 3:30 pep rallies, and then on Fridays, and then away games to send off, all the way down to having a joint Thursday pep rally on both the junior high and high school. So you can read those scenarios. There's a question about length of day and how will students stay focused for that long of a day, because it is the same amount of instruction time as a regular 5-day week calendar. In Reagan, currently, they're already have the majority of the kids there by 7:25. So they've been on campus under our current 5-day week program. They've already been on campus for the majority of this amount of time that we're talking about anyway. So they're there, and we understand that it adds approximately 35 minutes of the instructional time. So there's going to be increased brain breaks, increased snack times, and that are already scheduled today now, but they'll increase that and use more frequent as necessary to continue and have an energetic learning time. And at Travis Middle School and Quanah High School, many students are here by 7. We have at least over half of the student body here in the library by 7:30, and many students stay on campus well after 3:40. And so we already have students here and around and on campus for pretty much the same amount of time that we're asking students to be here on a 4-day week. And there was a concern about sports taking over Fridays. Well, first of all, there's a UIL policy that sports can only practice a set amount of time. And secondly, we are going to have district directives to coaches that they will not be able to go all day Friday. They will not have an option to use Fridays the entire day for practice. There'll be a set window of time. They will only be able to use that time. And then the rest of the day is going to be used for other things like FCCLA, FFA, one-act play, academic UIL, TEMSCA, many of the things that we have great success with here at Quanah ISD. They're going to have options to do that also on those Fridays. So sports will not be taking over Fridays. And meals for students during these Fridays, well, we're talking about one day out of the week, not an entire week like we're going to have with spring break, not 2 weeks plus that we have at Christmas, not a week we have at Thanksgiving, and of course not the almost 3 months we have at summer. This is one day a week. And so whenever you look at that, it's not anywhere near like what it is when we have actual breaks in our 5-day calendar. So it is just one day a week. And final thoughts, I'm not going to read these word for word. We'll leave this here for you to read. We understand we're not going to make everybody happy. We're not going to be able to consistently make decisions that every single person is 100% behind. But we are trying to do is we're trying to do what's best for our students. That's number one. And we all agree that what's best for our students is having the best possible teacher in that classroom each and every day. And we feel like this is the best strategy to get that done. This past year, all 3 campuses combined had 15 applicants for 14 positions. This has to, this is going to weigh on our district as we continue going into the future, as people retire, as people look for other careers, and those types of situations. And so we're looking to stop that and to bring in new teachers and keep teachers who are planning to possibly leave, keep them for a larger amount of time. So it may not automatically bring in more applicants right away, but the trend absolutely does show that it will. We understand there's going to be challenges, there's going to be problems, and we plan on taking those problems head on and doing the best job that we can and taking care of the students at Quanah ISD. So we understand there's going to be problems. That does not mean we can't solve them. And we're going to work with the community, and we're all going to work together to get them taken care of. Thank you.